Hey guys, all right, so here we are going on to fight number three in Mike Tyson's professional boxing career. Again, I give Tyson some flack. I give Tyson fanboys some flack only because I was once a Tyson fanboy. Doesn't mean I think he's garbage or anything like that. He's definitely a Hall of Famer, all these other things, and there's a lot to learn from him. And so I want to go through with, when I was big into Tyson, it was before I started coaching, so we're talking over 15 years ago. And now going back through, I want to pick on the notes that my dad identified to me because he was my coach as well. He's a professional boxing coach for multiple decades, and also identify some of the opportunities and flaws and things like that. Of course, that's going to get exposed more as we go along. A lot of these matches are just what they are, but also Tyson's really fun to watch. So I'm really enjoying this process. I hope you're enjoying this as well, guys. A lot of fun. So the next fight, by the way, why should you listen to me? Professional amateur boxing coach for 15 years. I boxed in the United States and Mexico. I was trained by my father. He's a professional boxing coach. He was coached as a fighter in Chicago, but also mentored as a coach under Chuck Bodak. And Bodak worked with over 50 world champions, including he was the Olympic coach for Muhammad Ali. All right, so Don Haplin is fight number three for Tyson. Don is 10-18. So see, he's upping against a more of a journeyman style guy. 10-18 at this point is Don Haplin. He ended up his career at 10-23. And so you're building a guy along, getting more and more experience. And I'm not saying you shouldn't do it like this. You should, particularly since Tyson didn't have a ton of amateur fights. And you got the money to do it. What was the key to Tyson's success? Yes, he had great power. Yes, he had great speed. Yes, he had a killer mindset. He had some good techniques. And he had Jim Jacobs. They had a lot of money. A lot of money to move him the right way. Costs a lot of money to buy all these opponents. It does. All right. And connections, which is great. I'm not hating. I'm just saying, like, those are the facts. Let's talk about reality, right? Again, not undermining him, not complaining, not whining or anything else like that. I'm just saying these are the facts of boxing. And if you're in pro boxing, you know exactly what I'm talking about. If you're not, then you need to just reserve your opinion to yourself until you know. All right. So this next one, hold on. Okay. So if we look at here with, already forgot the guy's name. Don Haplin. That's right, Don Haplin. All right, so Don, we'll see. He had some wins early on against, no ones. That's okay. And then he lost to Tubbs. Man, where am I at here in the world? All these ads are annoying on BoxRec. Okay, so going through. Lost to Al Brooks. Lost to Charles Cokes. Definitely know that name. Then going up. Where is the Mike Tyson fight? Oh, yeah, I guess it's going to be pretty high up here. But, yeah, you'll see, like, he lost to Tony Tubbs here, 8-0, who Tyson would go on to fight later. Then, if you see when he fought Tyson, he had a win before that against a 7-13 guy. But then he had a first-round TKO loss to a 4-0 guy, a TKO loss in some round to a guy named Jack Cicero, then a third round, I guess, TKO loss to John LaFranco, and then he fights Tyson. Looks like it's a perfect opportunity for him to fight a power puncher. What you think so if you were his manager? But that's what his manager is thinking for Tyson is, okay, here's a guy that's gotten, what, 1, 2, 3. He's on a 3-fight TKO losing streak. Perfect for Mr. Mike Tyson and perfect for us to make a statement with Mike and help him build up. All right? So let's get into the fight. And we get a chance in this fight, though, to see some good boxing by Tyson. Again, showing more variety than what people talk about with just the rigid idea of the peekaboo system, as we have seen throughout all of this. And again, like I talked about, there's great things with peekaboo, but any system that is too rigid is going to have too many constraints. Great job there by Mr. Tyson on the jab, double jab, and then a 1-2-1. Watch. 1-2-1. Catches him very cleanly with that 1. I love that. People don't expect after a right hand for you to come back with your jab. Do that, guys. Do that. More and more and more. Watch Tyson, good. Oh, I love this move right here, right? So he shoots that right hand, steps over, short right hand. And that's an excellent short right hand. Let's watch that again. Here, over, boom, right there. Great right hand. Tries to kind of angle over and do the left hook. Now you could say this is more peekaboo style stuff. But, look at Tyson's good with the left uppercut. He tries a lot of left uppercuts. And then Tyson eats a jab because the limitation with peekaboo is you don't learn hand defense. That's one of the reasons. Now you could say, could have moved his head offline. Yes, he could have, but you can't always move your head just with everything. And again, it's a style that's not going to fit a fighter as they get older as well, and if they don't have extreme athleticism. Of course, look at Tyson's classic boxing position as opposed to a hands-on cheeks position like you would see in one of those anime boxing things that try to act like that's how boxing is. Yeah, good old, look at Tyson and his peekaboo stance. It really looks like peekaboo does. I'm sorry for just digging this into the ground, but I get a little frustrated just because there gets to be this mythos with these different boxing concepts. When you see it with the Philly shell idea with Mayweather, you see it with the peekaboo style, you see it with Dempsey roll. There's probably a bunch of other ones I'm not even thinking about because I try to wipe them from my memory. That was a great slip because it's all about classic boxing and good boxing. Great slip here by Mr. Tyson. Man, that's interesting to lay on a right hand, but he does that left uppercut. He's really looking for that left uppercut, which is a great shot for someone that's a little bit lower and in the position of Don. Well, good with the shovel shots for the body. And again, we look at the limitations of not doing classic boxing like Joe Louis would do and things like that, and being a little bit shorter. Don did a good job slipping the jab, shooting the jab. Tyson doesn't have an answer besides moving the head. Also, too, if you're always slipping if you oftentimes slip to your left side as you jab, it does open you up for a right hand. Little stumble by Mike, no big deal. It happens to the best of us. One thing I like as well is the slipping here, and he doesn't get hit clean by it, but because it's really hard with the film. Gosh, the film is so crappy, isn't it? But anyway, the slipping to the side that almost buys you a dip at the same time that gets you away from punches, right? So that slip and dropping levels a little bit as you slip, very important so it doesn't hit your shoulders and things like that, but also gets you out of hitting height of a hook if it was a hook and you misread it. Tyson got some good little pep on his step. We watched Tyson box here a little bit. Nice and loose. Tyson's a lot more loose than you think he is. That's the only way he got to where he got to. Good jab to the body by southpaw. Boom. And that's a great move, guys. You're fighting someone in an opposite stance. It didn't land clean, but you get the idea. He shoots his right hand. You shoot your jab to the body. Or your jab up top. Using that jab. Oh, look at that. Boxing a little bit on the way back, see? And that's something my dad would tell me. He's like, look, you got to, I was like, I don't want to be exactly like Mike Tyson. I want to be exactly like Joe Frazier. You still got to learn to box. And as we've seen here, Tyson knows how to go back with his punches. He knows how to box. He knows a little bit more than what you see revealed in his fights. And more than also what you would think is only within this, like a peekaboo system or any system. Because again, any system can have too much constraints. Now he's peekaboo there for a second. See how long? Oh, now he's gone. Now he's back there for a second. Now he's gone. Good job keeping range. Look at this good standard boxing. Look like almost like Sugar Ray Leonard. Jab and keeping a range with the jab so those shots don't hit him. Knowing how to work your jab, so important. So many guys that just mimic how they think fighters fight versus how they really do fight. See, now he's going peekaboo there for a second. Good slip. Good jab for the body. Looked like that was a good little kind of setup where he does a hard jab for the body. And then he gets in a position where he makes it look like he's going to do a jab for the body. Boom. And kind of just throws the hand out, but then comes with the right hand up top. There he goes. That's what Tyson does throughout his entire career. He'll do this. and then go to that. See that? He goes from this to that. Good angle and head movement. Good lateral movement there by Tyson. Good job with the chin down as well by Mr. Mike. That was a good example of his shoulder getting in the way of a shot. So it was like meant as a head movement. I guess it didn't get quite in the way. He kind of slipped and then rolled under afterwards. Again, hard to see with the film. He's looking for that left to the body and the left uppercut. Good attempt at a little angle. Reaching his hands and holding. Goes to his set, and then he unsets from that position. Good left hook to the body. Good example, though, of when you're over there and you have all that foot, or rather all that weight on that left foot, it does open you up to get hit with good counter left hooks and put you in a little bit of precarious position. Round 2. Again, Tyson using his jab, so important. So is Don, because Don got some experience. And it's good. Tyson probably, I bet you Kevin Rooney, or, I guess it was Kevin Rooney, was telling him, hey, get some rounds in. Because it's very important to get rounds in. Now, of course, you can do that to a fault. You can hot dog it and screw around too long. Not screw around, but just, box. And miss what, made Tyson noteworthy, which is the ability to finish. Look at that little step back with the jab. Goes back to orthodox. One thing, too, I want to note is if you'll see here, I'll talk about it when there's a better example. He did his peekaboo set. Now he unsets from there to a standard boxing position where the right is higher than the left hand. Because if that left hand is too high, it can limit how much you see defensively. Right there. Back to standard boxing. Good. Ooh, brilliant. Brilliant there by Mr. Tyson. Slipped it. And the guy's ready for the left hook for the body. See that? Boom. Left uppercut. Good right hook for the body. Good firing back by Don. Don's got some experience. Tyson goes back to moving a little bit. 1-2. Again, but you see, the limitations when you're kind of bouncing around, stuff like that, you got to be able to have some hand defense, being able to block punches. They never worked on that with Tyson. Would have been a good thing to do so. Here we go. He slides over from southpaw, slides over, right hook, right or uppercut style, 45 style shot. Really nice. Goes back to orthodox, jab. Good circles. Think about how important it is to circle if you got someone standing right in front of you, because it's making them have to readjust. It's another thing that factors into keeping them off kilter and keeping them from setting their game plan. Good counter jab there by Mr. Tyson. Boom. Look at that. You got to love Tyson's jab. Good hard jab again, and the left hook for the body. Good little sequence there. Let's watch that here. He's there. Don comes in with that right hand. Tyson tries to shoot and basically gets hit by the right hand as he does so. But then, like any good fighter, you get hit by a right hand, you come back with your own right hand. You see guys like Evander, and a lot of guys do that all the time. Just because you get hit doesn't mean you don't need to come back. Use that as almost like a rolling motion to come back. 1-2-1. Good sequence. Tyson so light and fast on his feet. Good round. Next round. Great one right here. Don jabs for the body. Tyson comes with a classic counter. Boom. Right hand over the top. Really nice boxing. Jab. Left 45. Bouncing, moving around a little bit. Got touched on that. See some of the limitations of Tyson's defense. Good. That was excellent. Nice little move to one side. Back over. Slip. Right uppercut. Right hook from southpaw. Good jabs by Tyson. Got a little angle on it, land a shot. And again, this is important of being free and being creative a little bit, which is what Tyson's doing. Nice, man. Very nice by Tyson again. Good job maintaining range with the jab. So you see he's floating between orthodox and southpaw. Now, if you'll see here too, Tyson in his position, he's pretty darn sided up in relation to Don. He's pretty sided up in relation. He's not all square like some people talk about you need to be or something like with the style. He's pretty sided up. Not that he doesn't get square on the inside and things like that, but he definitely knows how to side up. That's how he has length on those jabs like that. Tyson's a little high up, which is what makes him get caught, sometimes in this fight against a guy who's a little bit lower. And Don's, doing some classic boxing here, which is just helping him. Nice, nice. Again, Tyson with his killer instinct. Don ties him up, but Tyson accepts the tie-up. Good feet and standard movement by Tyson. Sided up. Now Tyson's in the corner holding. Fighting like he's one of those classic boxers that he studied so much. Because you're going to got to ask yourself, what is the things that help Tyson the most, besides obviously the raw talent, athleticism, and opportunity, is he studied a ton of fight film of all types of fighters. All types of fighters. Do you think that rubbed off? Do you think that influenced him? Yes. Do you think it helped him become the level he became to? Yes. He wasn't just watching film of himself or of Floyd Patterson or of Jose Torres. So make sure you don't do the same by just watching a bunch of Tyson. Nice. Yeah, but look right here. Tyson is sided up. That left foot is behind him. Sided up in a good standard boxing position. He is not square like people talk about with peekaboo, or at least I've seen people talk about. I've never trained peekaboo, but everything I've seen about peekaboo, as far as those people online that talk about it, they got some funny things to say. All right, going into round number 4. This is great. It's opportunity for Tyson to get some good experience against what is truly a journeyman. Good counter right hand there by Tyson. Boom, look at that. Nice. Gets shut down, though, afterwards. Can't finish the job. That's the problem with the tie-up. There was Mike being a little cute, put out the left hand trying to measure, but then he gets nailed by a punch. He's a little bit too straight up and down right here. And doesn't quite have the eyes for it. It's important to develop those eyes to be able to see those different things. Also, as a heavyweight, you don't have to be quite as skilled as the lighter weights. Talk about that with my guys all the time. Plenty of guys that are like undefeated heavyweight amateurs, man, brilliant. And their skill is very subpar compared to like a 50-50 guy I have that's a lighter weight that has steeper competition. Great left hook. He slips over with that, and then a right hand. Man, and what big thing to note is that Tyson can throw just out of position. He can throw from any position, and that is the importance, guys. Don't feel like you have to be locked in a perfect, like, yes, foundation fundamentals are great, but then you need to do something called trust your training. Trust your training, meaning you train foundationally, you train technique, all these things. You be mindful of this stuff. But then when you go into spar, oftentimes, and especially when you go into fight, think about the fight. Do not try to be thinking about, am I in position or things like that. Trust your training. If you've trained properly enough, you shouldn't have to think about it. Nice. Boom. And, technically, I don't know if Don was down at that point. I mean, obviously the ropes kept him up, and he's bouncing back. And it reminds me of, like, the great Sugar Ray Robinson when he was fighting one guy. I can't remember who the hell it was. The guy bounced off the ropes, and similar type of thing Robinson threw in the same way. It's definitely borderline, definitely something to watch out for. But it's that killer attitude. And Mike watched all those great finishes over the years. And so he's ready to get that guy out of there. He's got that edge. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. And make sure you watch out for the next one. Going to be coming out soon. We're going to fight number 4. If you want to work with me, I have that custom high-level program where I'm going to build out exactly for you workouts every single day. You send me videos of you training every single day. You also send me videos of your sparring and of your fights. And it doesn't have to be even for fighters. It could be for hobbyists, enthusiasts. It'll help you really expand out your knowledge of boxing and help you feel unstoppable. All right, so make sure you check out that. Click on the Patreon page. I'll see you there. And I'll also see you on the next Mike Tyson fight study. Having a lot of fun with this, guys. Hope you are as well.